Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. I'm in a slightly different position today. The camera is precariously balanced on a chair because it's actually quite windy here today. I'm still here, we're all still here. Long may it last. But we always expect to get taken down any minute, or anything can happen. Never take anything for granted in life. I'm sure that's going to fall over. Yeah, it's really windy today, so I was worried that the wind would bother the microphone and in the phone. Finding Freedom, yes, I have taken the cover off. I took it off yesterday when I went into Jib with Graham. I thought I'll read the book while I'm in there, but then I forgot it was a relatively short hospital session. And before we got out of the car, I parked at the other end of the marina. I was so embarrassed. I didn't want anybody at the frontier to know, because I know a lot of people in Gibraltar. I don't mind saying it all on YouTube, but I just didn't want Spanish or Gibraltarian customs or immigration knowing that I'd carry a copy of Finding Freedom around with me. They might think I'm a sugar. Anyway, so I'm pressing on with it, and I have come across a sentence which I found quite shocking in this book. Now, I don't know where to begin describing Finding Freedom, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm about that far through. The last chapter I read was all about her complaining that Thomas wouldn't reply to her text messages and stuff, all that stuff. This particular chapter that I'm reading is called Stand By Me. And I don't know if any of you have seen the Truman Show out there, but it always made me laugh. He was a guy, for anyone who doesn't know, everybody must know what the Truman Show is. But he was a guy that was a baby, and they put him in a reality show, and so he just never realised. But then it began to dawn on him there was something very wrong about his type of reality, because he had this wife who was his stage wife, he didn't realise, and every so often she'd break into an advert, like there'd be some cereals, and she'd hold it up and look at a camera and say, "Oh, I always buy these cereals for my breakfast, you should too," and then Truman would be looking for the camera thinking, who is she talking to? That's what this book is like. It's like one paragraph I read and I think, I'm sure Megan wrote that. The next paragraph I'm pretty certain Omid wrote, because it's toning down the exaggerations, shall we say, of Megan's paragraph and putting a few twisted facts in there to try and back her up, throw the girl a bone. And then the next paragraph I think is written by Carolyn Durand, where it just lists a load of people I've never heard of before in my life, and charities and stuff, like accreditations. And then there are huge paragraphs which are clearly sales pitches. And in this one, she's talking about Daniel, the makeup artist, the crying makeup artist, and how he apparently, they got married in the May, right? We all know that. Daniel had been preparing how he was going to do her makeup from the previous December. So, I wear a little bit of eye makeup. Apart from that, I don't wear any makeup. I'm not familiar with makeup, but any of you guys out there, would you have to prepare for makeup for what is that, 6 months? 6 months. And then there's like very, very short parts in this. Fair use and fair dealing, I'm doing this under book review, for fear of copyright strikes or infringing any of Omid's, God forbid I should infringe any of Omid's rights. There's one short paragraph that says, other than what happened with Thomas, the entire wedding process was running smoothly. In brackets, perhaps because there was no room for any other drama, close brackets. Well, this book was written a couple of years ago, more than I can't remember now. 2020, wasn't it? About 3 years ago. And since then, Megan herself has said, yes, there were other dramas. There was an argument over flower girls and tiaras and tights and stuff. Harry, I think, made reference to the tiaras, didn't he? And that there were lots of other dramas, and yet Omid says here, other than what happened with Thomas, the entire wedding process was running smoothly, perhaps because there was no room for any other drama. So he obviously wasn't that in the know, was he? Megan obviously didn't tell him the full story, but I haven't finished the book. Maybe he'll cover tiara and tightskate later. But yeah, Daniel the makeup artist, had to prepare. You had to prepare. And wait till you hear how he did her makeup. I know you're all sitting on the edge of your seat waiting to hear this. Chaps as well. Take heed. Immediately, he began to think about how he would achieve the right look, natural but effervescent, almost lit from within. The biggest challenge had been their conflicting schedules, which meant they were never able to do a proper run-through. Daniel had to work from images of her early May hair trial as inspiration. But because of their years working together, he knew what Megan wanted. She was a confident woman, enough to let her own beauty and a hint of freckles shine through. Due to the secrecy surrounding the whole event, however, Daniel wasn't sure who else was involved in the process. Two competing beauty pros can make for a very uncomfortable situation. But when he spotted Julia Roberts' longtime hairstylist, Serge Norman, coming down the stairs, he said, "Thank goodness." I can imagine, you know, I've had a lot of pressure in my life, Daniel. If you're watching Crying Maker, I've had a lot of pressure, you know, and I can't imagine how stressed you must have been not knowing who her hairdresser was going to be. That could have been catastrophic. I can't even begin to sympathise with the man and Megan. I mean, it must have been awful, the pressure. I've often wondered if my makeup artist and hairdresser would clash, or whether they'd manage to be professional enough to knuckle down and get on with it to help me look like I'm lit from the inside. Anyway, here goes his makeup. Let me see if I can find his makeup. Oh, then the men swapped. And Daniel gave Megan a dewy glow mix of toner, moisturiser and sunscreen primer. Just a spot treatment of foundation on her T-zone. He finished up by smudging chestnut, cocoa and rust shadows to her lids, lining her eyes and applying lashes to their corners. Skipping lipstick, he went with the balm to enhance her natural colour, and lastly added a swipe of cream coral blush on her cheeks for slight flush. My God, that's a lot, isn't it? That sounds awfully complicated to me. I mean, really? Do you see what I mean about the Truman Show thing? What the hell? And they go into there's other things where she, you know, what her mother wore. And they go on and on and on. And Daniel's talking about how Meghan is a big game changer with the royal family, because, you know, they were all a bunch of racists before she came along and saved the day. He's talking about the people who are going to be lining the, you know, the long walk at Windsor. Many who had never before seen themselves represented in royal celebrations, such as Brits with Caribbean roots in Brixton. Right. Well, this is the sentence that I'm coming up to that I really find quite stunning, because a quick Google search proved my initial suspicions correct. Now, Brixton, for anyone who's not from the UK, is a district in London. Yes, there are many people of colour who live there. I used to drive through it on my way to work every day. Oddly enough, it's rather famous for one of our past Prime Ministers coming from there. Hi Ben, just doing a quick video. I can't remember. Can I answer that question in a little bit? Anyway, yeah, one of our past Prime Ministers came from Brixton. John Major, Conservative politician, Caucasian, and he's very proud of Brixton, and damn right too. Anyway, coming to the sentence, and I really don't know how they have the gall to put this in there when Google exists in this day and age to prove that this sentence is a load of rubbish. Meghan and Harry went to visit Brixton, right, before they got married. The official visit offered a chance to win over the community. So they're saying that the whole of Brixton were anti-monarchy. Wow, speak for everyone in Brixton, why don't you? To win the community over, which was largely of Afro-Caribbean descent. One not previously on the royal family's radar. Google it. Google it, guys. Google royal family visits to Brixton. Diana and Charles, the Queen frequently, lots and lots and lots of royal visits, long before Meghan came along to save the day for the racist royal family. Anyway, as you can see, I am going to give Benji some attention today, and we're going to go and get him a haircut. He's going to go to the opticians and get his extremely expensive watch battery fixed. And Faith's going to spend some time with Graham today. So what do you make of that? The royal family, they never set foot in Brixton before Meghan came along. Oh, thank God for Meghan. Thank God for Meghan. I could go on and on and on with this book. There is so much in the book. I'm not encouraging any of you to buy it. Don't do that. Don't worry, I'll let you know. I'll let you know all my thoughts and opinions on Finding Freedom. I know a lot of people said it was written in a very syrupy way. It is and it isn't. I know the bits Meghan wrote. You would too, if you read it. You would identify immediately. I mean, all that description of the makeup artist. Who do you think wrote that? Did Omid write that? I mean, I've seen Omid on the telly lots of times, and the way he presents himself is as an English gentleman. You know, he's got a picture of himself on the internet in a smoking jacket, which actually I think looks fabulous. I just can't see the guy, or this Carolyn Durand. I don't even know who she is, but I just can't see either of them. And I've read articles written by Omid, lots of articles. I just don't think that's his style. Oh, we used a bit of this and that and the other, and I did her T-bone before I gently did. No, Omid didn't write that. He didn't write that. Meghan wrote that. Warby, are you watching? It actually took me half an hour to read it and reread it before stopping laughing so that I could do this video. Thank you all very much for listening to my ramblings. Anyway, hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you later below in the comments section. Thank you very much for listening.